Like most guides, my Baedeker includes advice to help the Victorian traveller find a suitable hotel for the night. Muirhead thought hotels in British cities were generally good, but expensive. Here in Liverpool, it was the Adelphi that topped the list, at around 6 shillings a night. It's not quite the same hotel as that described in my Baedeker, as it's been rebuilt and remodelled several times. But it still has everything that the Americans in particular would have loved. Come into my room. This is the hall. This is fantastic. A hall in your room. And this is my living room for a very short period of time, with a fantastic mixture of furniture, these lovely paintings, and, best bit, a blackjack table. I don't know how to play blackjack, but if I could, I would. I'd have to get some friends, of course. And this is the eerily named room 101, which is just, well, palatial really. From the days when people slept in single beds. This must have been unusual, a basin in your bedroom, gallons of hot water. Americans would have been very keen on good plumbing. They thought the whole of Europe was insanitary. All these cupboards were built by ship's carpenters, and all this is laid out as it would have been on the ship. These military handles fit flush, got those great drawers, and massive space so you could put any amount of gear in here. And, even better, if you were really seriously wealthy, you can rent the whole floor. Well, that's pretty fab. I always think you've been on a ship for, you know, a week, and really what you want is a bit of stability and comfort. So you find yourself a very good hotel, and you just have a night of luxury before you set off in your unknown country. I teach the history of art and design, and I hope to seek some of the more interesting and curious places I can find using my old Baedeker as my guide. And as Liverpool was a natural entry point into Britain for most Americans, I'm going to start right here. All Baedekers are arranged the same way. There's a series of railway itineraries which start from major rail hubs or cities, and the nearest one to Liverpool is North Wales, which Muirhead, the man who wrote this Baedeker, really rated. And in fact, the only panorama in the whole of the Great Britain Guide, i.e. picture of real places, is a panorama of Snowdon. So I think I'm going to go to North Wales. First stop, Llandudno. Mr. Muirhead described this as the most fashionable of Welsh watering places, and delightfully situated. The station doesn't seem too fashionable now, but it's clearly seen better and busier times. Well, it's a huge station. Looking back, there must have been thousands of people coming here. And away from the station, I see that Muirhead was right, and today Llandudno is a delight, a gem of only slightly faded Victoriana. It's really amazing here today. There is not a breath of wind. The pier is an absolute, well, you know, it's like the pier of your dreams, how piers are supposed to be, I guess. And Baedeker takes it for granted you're going to walk down the pier. And he says, of course this is a very Baedeker thing, that it's 1,250 feet long. So I'm going to go and see if it is 1,250 feet long. As you walk down the pier and you look back on the town, you get a better and better view. Gradually the whole landscape behind opens up and you see the mountains behind. You can really imagine being a Victorian. There's no, you know, you can't really see the cars, and you kind of zoom back in time. It's really great. I can practically feel my collar itching. Nice to see one of these piers being looked after, and it's not a pastiche. Little decorative panels round the bottom. It's amazing they've survived. I mean, they look sort of 1910-ish, but going out the sun. Can't do that. Let's go over here. And when Baedeker described Llandudno, I was reading it, I was thinking it can't be that good. But actually, it fits. Llandudno, the most fashionable of Welsh watering places and one of the most attractive in the kingdom, well, today that's true, is delightfully situated on the narrow peninsula between Conway Bay and Orns Bay, facing the latter, the graceful swell of which is finely bounded by the bold limestone headlands of the Great and Little Orme. We are here in autumn, and it says, the climate of Llandudno is bracing in the summer and comparatively mild in the spring and autumn. And today, I could almost take my jacket off. And it's just, what a view. Maybe it looks so good because it's one of the first planned tourist resorts, but built on a salt marsh and created out of desperation. Lord Mostyn, the local landowner in the mid-19th century, was in financial trouble. He was persuaded by a brash surveyor from Liverpool called Owen Williams that the future was in tourism. The railway was coming and he should build a resort.
We knew the railway was coming along the coast to Holyhead, and a short branch into Llandudno would make it all very accessible. So Owen Williams got Lord Mostyn down here, and can I just my umbrella?
Sure, take
and he had a stick, and he drew out his plan. That is the bay. He said we'll put the hotels along the bay so they've got superb views out to sea, and then we'll put a shopping street behind that.
So where's the railway coming into this?
Right, the railway station is about 3 streets back roughly, and the railway line came from the main line there, which is going to Holyhead. By the time Baedeker was coming here, there were 100 trains a day coming to and from. So
100 trains?
100 trains.
So how does Llandudno compare, I mean, at the height of its prosperity, to how it is now?
Of all the resorts in Britain, it's faring probably as well as any. My view is that it's the finest Victorian seaside resort in Western Europe still. So what Baedeker said still carries on today.
Baedeker recommends that the visitor should lose no time in exploring the Great Orme's Head, and I think a great way to get to the top is on the tramway, built within a few years of the publication of my guide. Oh, that's lovely. Just as you come round that corner there, 1 minute you're in a suburban street, next minute you get this great arc of sea appears from nowhere, and you get this sense of great height. And from here you can't even see Llandudno, you just get this wonderful surprise view. And it's funny being on a tram, watching a man up a ladder fix his roof. It's always good to watch other people work. You can see for miles up there, you can see right out into the mountains where the rain is coming in. Getting to the top of the Orme is the whole point of coming up here, and the views are fantastic. My Baedeker guide doesn't just suggest beautiful places to visit, it's often bluntly honest. It describes the town of Bethesda as a busy and ugly quarryman's town, with about 10,000 inhabitants. But it did urge visitors to go and visit the Penrhyn slate quarries, the largest in the world, employing upwards of 3,000 quarrymen and producing 360 tonnes of slate a day. So when Baedeker wrote this guide, he presumed that everyone who came to Bethesda would come up to the quarry. So I'd like to see the quarry.
Right, well, just over here, this is the original Penrhyn quarry.
Alan Smith